Actually, this is the first time that I have ever worked in a government agency. I used to work in a private sector, and I can still remember the first day I entered the office. It was like everyone's just so laid back, and it's just completely different from my experience in the private sector, where everything is about outputs and we all have to deliver something at the end of the day. So I was once on the receiving end. I used to work at the office of the corporate secretary, and as you know, just like in any other corporation, the office of the corporate secretary is more of policy making. So there's definitely lots of queries everywhere requesting for policy documents, reference documents, and everything. But I didn't see them really trying to meet the deadlines. So I started to somewhat think that there's something I can do about it. I used to work in just in the audit section. So what we do is I assist the board members in doing or conducting audits for the entirety of this corporation, and I can see the gaps. I never even see them working on it, just really pushing themselves to work harder. And that's where I think that I can do something. And back in the private sector, we don't have all these policies and procedures, but we're very much focused on that because we know that output really matters at the end of the day. And so as a starting point of my project, I realized, I remember this movie. I believe some of you have even watched it, The Newsroom. There was this line said by this guy named Will, and his character was played by Jeff Daniels. And he said there, the first step in solving a problem is recognizing there is one. And I think if once I have understood that there's something I can do, once I understood that there's a starting point for me, and that is that tipping point where when I decided that this could be my project for the Six Sigma Green Belt. But it wasn't an overnight success. In fact, there are many roadblocks. First is the buy-in. As you know, in the government sector, we all are so much focused on policies. So the buy-in from the higher ups is not really that good. The only thing that we are doing okay, we're doing this every day, so let's just stick to it. That's their idea, but not mine. The other thing is nobody's doing it. So if everyone's laid back, I should be laid back just like them. I mean, that doesn't apply to every other organization or probably just any other department, but that's just my observation. But then again, I think I said to myself, just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean it's correct. Sometimes wrong is still wrong, even if everyone's doing it, and right is still right, even if no one's doing it. So I made a stand. The other thing that I have to address with them is what we call, it's a social construct. It's called the xenophobia. Xenophobia is just simply, they hate anything foreign to them. So if they're really used to just following policies, and here you are introducing process improvement through Six Sigma, normally they would reject it. So sometimes I have to reinvent my approach. And then there's this passivity. Not everyone though, but most people in our organization is really laid back. So this is where Six Sigma Philippines has helped. It's really about people facilitation. It's really about people skills. And I have learned that it's really about working with people. During my short stint in our office, I was able to help them bring out the best in them, because there are lots of us in our office, but we have different skills. We have different set of skills. Some of us are doctors, some of us nurses, some of us lawyers. So really, you get the picture. It's professions of all sorts, but they're not being used to benefit the entire corporation. And then just like what Coach Rek has always told us during our training batch 49, it's really about data, and data. Just like what he said, even if you have all these all these processes, if you have no data, you cannot control it. You're just in the mercy of chance. So those are the things that I have to put in mind. I suggest that you first need to find what you do best. In my case, I have to really work hard to find what works for me, what works best for this corporation, what works best for others. Because at the end of the day, they will always ask you, what's in it for me? And think about how I could help the people around. The rest will simply follow. And also, one thing I have to say to myself every time, every day, is I have to stay committed to my goal. I have to remember that I am in this corporation. I'm assuming this job because I have to perform something. I have to do something. I have this output at the end of the day. So I have to stay focused and stay committed. The other thing that I really learned as I go through my project is to never stop learning. I actually took during the conduct of my project, I took analytics management. I got trained at the Development Academy of the Philippines, and you really have to. I learned that I really have to learn a lot. I have to reinvent myself so that I could be more beneficial, or I can help others even more. The other thing while doing so is that I learned that I have to, leave my comfort zone, and I suggest you do the same. You leave your comfort zones, because comfort zone is a very good place to be at, but nothing grows there. And lastly, I think we should stop. I mean, I learned, and this lesson, I suggest you learn from it as well. My message is to stop finding faults in the system and just focus our energy, our time, our strength in finding and being the positive change in our organization. Well, that's another problem, sir. Kasi po, in the government, the other problem I've encountered is, of course, the age. So the youngest in our office, well, in my team, is actually 47. So hindi sila ganoon kasabi when it comes to technology. So when it comes to really facilitating, I have to just facilitate on the the brainstorming session and all the discussions kung sino lang po yung available during the meeting, and then I have to meet them sa ibang pagkakataon, sa ibang day na nandun din sila, because if I would push them to adopt Zoom or MS Teams or Google Meet or something like that, the answer I would be getting is, hindi ko na lang ang gumawa. Kasi I cannot push them, but I cannot push them to learn something na, their regular job is, their regular thing is working for them. If I would be introducing something alien to them, like I said, xenophobia for them, they would really push back. So I worked with them still, but it took me a while. So I was I was trained in 2021, but I was only able to finish it just recently. That's because there are other things that I have to deal when it comes to my team. Yung project na ginawa ko is about TAT, that's the reduction of the turnaround time for all the documents, or the incoming and the outgoing documents of the Office of the Corporate Secretary.
Thank you.
And what happened, Bryan? It went down from 6 days to
yun yung the baseline the baseline turnaround time that I have when I came to our office was 6 days. Just remember, you just imagine this situation. So we're handling policy documents, and then because of the documents that comes from us, it becomes the basis for the corporate issuances, the new benefit packages, and all those things. And then it would take them about 6 days. And at the end of my project, I was able to bring it down to about 2 days. Now, in our corporate scorecard, we're supposed to release the document. Any document is actually that's only in 3 days. So I was not expecting this. I was able to bring it down to just 2 days.
Wow.
And well, it's something during one of our ExCom meeting when it was raised by my boss, attorney 𝘰𝘦𝘦𝘥. You can check her name on the website. She raised it during one of our ExCom meetings, and she recommended other offices to adopt the same practice. Well, actually, that's a good turnout for me because in the first place, it's really about when she knew that I was working on this project. I mean, I have 2 bosses, and the good thing about it is I was able to earn their respect. So whenever I make some recommendations, they would really try to listen to me whenever we have staff meetings. And kasi alam nila na now that I have developed yung mga dashboards namin na it was never actually implemented in the entirety of this corporation. So if you have the data to present to them to back it up, and I connect it to the needs ng aming office, then that's when they started listening. Yun po. I think there are different thrusts for every project. I used to work with BPO, so the important things na meron kami dati, it's different from the things that we have to value in this corporation. But one thing's for certain, when you start your project, I suggest that you always have a good set of data. Kasi if you really can't work on anything if you don't have a good set of data. So whatever field of expertise, even in our legal offices, they were starting to discuss, yung data handling na nila. They're starting to discuss their processes because of the results of our project, in the office of the corporate secretary. So again, always focus on data. So you have to specifically you have to be very focused or precise when it comes to the quality. When I was formulating my project, I asked Sir Rex specifically. Sabi ko sa kanya, Sir Rex, has there been an instance when someone from the government sector has actually been certified in any like green belt or something like that? Sabi niya, wala. Kasi, so I mean, in the government sector, kasi in our practice, Six Sigma does not, I would say it does not exist. I mean, they do not, not that it does not exist. They just don't value. I would say they just don't value the need to improve the processes and work on data. So when I started my project in Lean Six Sigma, my Lean Six Sigma project in our office, it wasn't recognized at first. What's known to us is 5S. We do 5S, but apparently that's not working for us, even if we have those 5S practices, and they are only familiar with Kaizen. So quick fix. So yun yung alam nila. So I have to tell them, I have to somehow package it, to in a way na regardless of the techniques or methodologies we're gonna be using, this quality need for our office is real. Because I have the data to support it. As an offshoot of my project, I was able to show them that even our board resolutions, it will take 5 months to complete. That's one of the offshoots kasi. And then once I was able to prove to them, they weren't even aware of it. Again, if you don't have the data, there's no success in even starting the project. So once they realize na oo nga pala, yung mga resolutions natin, ang pinakamataas na policy documents na meron ng corporation natin, it takes 5 months. Just imagine 5 months for just one resolution on the average. So when I showed them that information, that's when they started listening to my suggestions, because there's a real need behind the recommendations and the data that I have been seeing. Now, on the aftermath, really, to be honest, hindi siya, I wouldn't say a promotion. I only earned their respect from the respect of the executives, and then of course my co-workers. But para sa akin kasi, what I can say na the ultimate success of my project is actually being able to work with my colleagues and making them the best in what they do. Ayun.